from the day she started the shelter and we were sitting around a table praying for a loaf of bread, to now, couldn't imagine. My mom would smile so hard, tears would be coming out of her eyes. She loved the shelter. She'll be very, very happy. And it's just remarkable that it all started because she followed that little voice.
This place is about 50 years old. A woman named Bev Gargis started it after learning that an older alcoholic man had frozen to death under a bridge in Jackson.
And Bev said that just is unacceptable. She just wanted to have a warm place for men and women to be able to stay and get off of the street and out from under the bridges.
And then the shelter idea was born.
She had literally nothing, I think, to start this with, but she had a faith that this needed to be done, and it was the kind of thing that was pleasing to God.
Where it went from one person to a community effort, it seemed like the snowball started rolling down the hill.
When they originally started the shelter and they didn't know how they were going to do it, how they were going to afford it, and kind of taking that leap, and then the community coming around.
Jerry Walker, that owns Silverphone, she donated. I mean, and Steve Velnoff from the Baketeria.
And then, of course, she ran into Bob Zalkowski from Brothers Restaurant Supply, who donated all the materials to start a kitchen and to start a cafeteria-style area. And then Jim Cummings, I believe, from Cummings Plumbing, came in and did all the plumbing in the kitchen. And
a few years later, when they moved from the original shelter to the current shelter, and then that was a larger expense, and they, again, didn't know how they were going to do it, didn't know if they'd have the funding to do it, and the community came together and made it happen.
She bought this building, and when she signed the land contract, she had 77 cents. And a promise to God that if he let her open the shelter, she would do her part.
I've seen a significant amount of support, back in the early 90s. I could definitely tell that support has grown significantly.
The shelter continued to grow, and eventually that ran its course, and now the shelter has Steve Castle here.
The community's been amazing. We're here after 50 years because of this amazing community, and so I think, partly it's continuing that amazing partnership and that care for what we do.
This place has really grown. The administration that's currently present with, operating this particular foundation has done an enormous and a fabulous job.
Improving this environment in the many ways, the playground, the entranceway, the meeting room. And I think everyone who walks in here feels like, hey, this is a place where people care about the people that come here.
You think of a shelter as just a bed. No. A shelter is way more than that, especially here.
They treat you like family. And so, if you don't have one, you'll get to know what it's like to have one.
People lifting me up, people just wanting to help me, people just being kind to be kind.
I mean, you can see the physical changes that they've done around here, but I think more important than that, they're working on, systemic and sustainable programs and practices that will help people become self-sufficient, their pathway to success.
When the whole idea is for someone to get out of here, to stay out of here so that they don't need to come back to the shelter because they're homeless again, it's all of the things outside of the shelter that are happening that make that possible.
With these partnerships, we each get to look at what those gaps are. So some things are gonna overlap, right? But we work with those. If they overlap, how can we make that better? If they don't, then how can we fill that gap and meet the need?
Because it's not just about addressing immediate needs. It's about changing systems and setting people up for long-term success. And the shelter has proven that they're willing to do whatever it takes to support people within this campus, so to speak, but also to reach outside and work with other mission-aligned organizations to kind of build that safety net around people so that we can really carry them through this phase of life.
We couldn't do it without the community partnerships, and it's not just here's a meal, here's a roof over your head for tonight, good luck. It's us all coming together, surrounding that person that's going to actually allow for that actual life transformation.
You're depressed, you're down on yourself, you're angry, That's not motivation. You feel like a failure. And the shelter takes that away from you. And they build you up so you can go out. You can fill out forms, applications. You can talk to people. They help you do that. That's why the public should support the shelter.
They help me a lot, and if they help me, I'm sure they help plenty of other families. So I would just say keep it going. Just keep it going, best they can.
I really hope the community sincerely will keep supporting the shelter.
I couldn't have sat back and imagined just how big it would be, how it would be received, how it would last 50 years from a seed to an outlet for the community to pour their love into. And my hope is that it continues and it makes success stories of the people that it serves.